Hello, and welcome to Mark Reed's channel. And today we're going to do something different and delve into a Whack an Atheist done by Kent Hovind. This occurred after we AJ, Atheist Junior, and myself, we did a review of his debate. And so Kent seemed to do another Whack an Atheist and criticise us. So if you don't know who Kent Hovind is, it is this man. Oh, my apologies, that's the wrong picture. Sorry, just 1 second. Is this man, and this is his prison picture, I believe. Looking very, very, very... Look at those dead eyes. That's incredible. But yeah, we just want to go back, and we're going to be having a look at his... I'd use scathing generously, but his sort of cranky comeback video here. And I wasn't sure I wanted to do this and sort of get down in the mud, but I think just a sort of, little bit of a light-hearted jab back. So we'll have a look at it and see what he's got to say.
Whack an Atheist Wednesday. We believe the Bible is true. God made everything in 6 days. Everything. So tonight, Dr. Kent, the science gem. Yeah,
Kent's not a doctor. He doesn't have any accredited PhD. He got one from a paper mill that's not an accredited university, so he's not actually a doctor at all. He actually has the same qualifications I do, essentially. People have read his dissertation. It's terrible. In fact, I believe he's tried to sort of cover it up because it is that bad. The idea that he's a scientist is quite frankly laughable.
We're read just to, we believe the Bible is true. Dinosaurs lived with man. They did not live millions of years ago. There is no geologic column. There's no fossil record. The Bible's true. Evolution.
Yeah, so Kent's got no basis for deciding what's mental illness and what is not. If he did, he would probably want to look up what narcissism means, because his behavior is completely narcissistic. But yeah, so look, he would be the last person I'd ever listen to on what constitutes mental illness and what wouldn't, quite frankly.
The mental illness. Okay, come visit our dinosaur adventureland. You guys only...
Yeah, the horror stories about this dinosaur adventureland are pretty horrible. Among the things that have come out about it, apparently a kid died in a pond there. Apparently he's friends with a pedophile called Chris Jones, who he's invited to stay there and has stayed in the same bed as a child. None of this has been denied by Kent. He just thinks that his convicted pedophile friend is completely innocent, has no... didn't do it, and even though he's been convicted on multiple counts. I think that's pretty horrible. And Kent, if you want to stop people talking about this, maybe stop attacking them, because from where I sit, you don't have any moral basis to sort of criticize anybody else from your behavior. But yeah, I probably wouldn't, visit this dinosaur park, in my life. I think that if I'm going to go to America, there's multiple places I'd visit than some sort of semi-religious compound / 2-bit theme park in Alabama somewhere.
I got to see one of the tours today. How did you like Dinosaur Adventure? I was taking the trip. We're talking about how dumb evolution is.
Yeah.
He's 9 years old. He can...
See, but sort of calling something dumb isn't an actual argument, Ken. It's just, it's a child's reaction, that's dumb. Yeah, you've really got to figure out how you're going to make an argument against it, rather than just sort of spit that dummy you love so much and sort of complain about it. Because just saying, hey, it's dumb, is not an argument.
Figure it out. Yep. Doing this for your good. And I want to thank...
Yeah, I don't think it's for anger. I think it's because he has a vested interest in sort of riling up Christians to give him money, and he sort of says, send us money and we'll destroy evolution. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. He's been doing this for years and years and years, and, his position is weaker now than it ever was to start with. He's been losing the fight for many, many years. He just claims that he's winning it for some weird reason. I don't understand why.
Mr. Patterson, for being willing to...
And that's Atheist Junior, who is a really nice guy, and what a nice picture he used. I mean, I'm glad he found a really good picture. What a guy. He's actually really nice. A lot nicer than Kent is, actually. So I'd rather hang out with AJ than Hovind any day of the week. And I think that one of these two, see if you can guess which one, has been convicted multiple times of crimes. See if you can guess which person it is, you know.
Debate me several times about the creation versus evolutionism topic. By the way, you Christians, pay attention. I put the ism on evolution. Now,
yeah, he does, but that doesn't make it not a science. Like, you can't just go, oh, well, it's gravityism, and suddenly it doesn't exist anymore, or it's just a belief. Kent doesn't understand how any of this works. You know, you can't just say, hey, it's germ theoryism, and suddenly our modern medicine collapses. I don't know why he believes this is the case. It's one of those sort of, you know, deeply held faith convictions that he seems to have for no apparent reason whatsoever.
When they do it, they'll say creationism versus evolution.
Yeah, that's because creationism is, like, the isms are belief structures, while evolution is a fact. I mean, even Kent admits that microevolution, which he sort of gets the wrong idea about the term, but even he admits that's right. So, and it does happen, you know, that traits are passed down by parents, and that's evolution. So even he admits that it exists, so it's not just a belief structure, it's a fact.
They put the ism on creation. Okay, tonight is Whack an Atheist. A.J. Patterson,
Yeah.
you get it again. I'm going to show you why. You keep asking for it. It's real simple. Okay, it's real simple.
No, he doesn't ask for it. It's just that people like Kent can't handle any kind of criticism whatsoever. So this is why he can't even admit that he could have done better in a debate, or that somebody had a good point in a debate. He cannot admit that to himself. It's simply Kent finds the criticism as he's got to destroy the person behind that, which is kind of weird when you think about it. You know, when you think about the whole idea of Christianity and turn the other cheek and, you know, things like that. Why Kent's so vindictive when it comes to criticism. It's very strange, because I think if he was really a, you know, Bible-believing Christian, as he claims, well, shouldn't you turn the other cheek and forgive your enemies and etc., show them kindness, like 1 Peter 3:15, that you deal with, you know, you tell people the reason for your hope and do it with kindness and gentleness. Or he seems to ignore that part and thinks that it doesn't apply to him for some reason. Not sure why, but hey.
Next month, we got a couple of debates. I only did up to $2.99. Time, lots of time. How can you turn an amoeba to a whale? Give it enough time.
Yeah, a lot of things require a lot of time. It's like saying, well, why don't you bake a cake within 2 seconds if you can bake a cake? Like, you can't do it. Obviously it isn't possible. Yeah, some things just do require time, and it's not as if we had the theory of, okay, we're going to make up this time to sort of, you know, convince ourselves that this thing is right. That's been decided by multiple different fields all coming to the same conclusion. So this whole idea of, oh, there isn't enough time, basically Kent's saying there's a conspiracy between geologists, evolutionary theorists, you know, the historians, ancient historians, paleontologists, paleobotanists, like just every single field, including sort of nuclear physicists and things like that, astronomers, you name it. All of these fields, they say exactly the same thing, but in Kent's world, there has got to be a conspiracy, because there is no possible way that this time exists. And so he makes it up in his head. All of this is just a big conspiracy, which is ridiculous. There's no reason for science to conclude that this time exists if it doesn't. But, you know, Kent's got his conspiracy theories, and he loves sort of saying, hey, it's all a conspiracy.
That's their cure. Everything, given enough time. In this debate, nearly everyone feels Mr. Patterson was beaten badly.
No, actually, Kent. It's not that he was beaten. He was shouted down to. You were loud, obnoxious, interrupted him constantly. That's what we're saying. He feels like, or I won't speak for AJ actually, I feel like he was steamrolled by a bully. That's basically what happened. You interrupted him all the time. You didn't let him get his points across. You were talking very loudly, and he described it as shouting. I can see where he's coming from, because you were talking with a raised voice, clearly trying to drown him out. Now, you can say, hey, I won the debate because I shouted over the top of somebody, but I don't feel that is a correct evaluation of who won a debate. The person that wins a debate is the one that presents the best arguments. So when you say he was badly beaten, no, he was really, really steamrolled by you. And that's not a compliment. That means that you're a nasty piece of work that talks over the top of people and shouts at them. That's not a compliment, Kent. That's not something you should be proud of. That's being really horrible. And I don't know how you could be a Christian and be proud of bullying somebody in a debate. How are you proud of that? I mean, it's just, you would have to be a kind of really sick individual. And hey, there's times where I've, interrupted people and spoken loudly. And the difference between you and me, Ken, is I feel badly about it afterwards. I feel, hey, I probably did speak over that, didn't let them have their chance. But you're in fact actually proud of that, which is incredible to me. Why are you proud of that? It's such a disgraceful thing.
Badly beaten. Even he admits that. After not posting anything for a few days, he came out with a video saying he was seeking direction for his channel.
Yeah, he kind of took a break. You don't know what's going on the side of this person's head. You just think you do, and you want to believe that you've won so badly, or you've beaten somebody so badly. But we're not in it to beat people down or tell them what to think. We're in it to sort of argue our case and present arguments. And this is the difference between you and us, Kent. You really just want to beat people down. That's your entire goal. It isn't to seek the truth. It isn't to come to understanding and present ideas. It's just to beat people down. And, what kind of Christian enjoys beating people down? A bad one, I would proffer, and a lot of Christians would agree with me. But then again, a lot of Christians don't like the way that you go about doing things. And your answer to that is, oh, well, they're not really Christians, or, they're not going about it right. I don't think you get the right to choose. I think that you're just a horrible person for thinking that attacking people and beating them is somehow makes you good. Why would you think that's the case? It reflects on you so badly. I don't understand why you would sort of, look at him. He takes a smug pleasure in it. It's pretty gross, actually.
And would now not do debates on creation versus evolution. The next bit of content I come out with. Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, part of the reason he did video games is because he knows you hate video games. And I got to admit, I did the same. See, the thing is that we actually think it's funny that you take exception to what we do in our own lives. Like, why do you care what we do in our lives? What's it any of your business what we do in our lives? We actually find it hilarious because if you decided to go off and go water skiing, has no impact on us. We don't care. But if you want to go out and state things that are not evidently true, i.e. you've got no evidence for them, and proffer to put those things into legislature or try to get them taught in schools, then yeah, we've got a problem there because you are actually trying to affect our lives. But go off and go water skiing. Go, waddle round your park and tell people whatever you want to tell them. Got no problem with that. But if you're going out there and stating this as fact when it is not evidently fact, I'm going to speak up and challenge you. And I will do so again. And sort of this thing, if you lose, stay down.
He said, AJ, you are defending the dumb theory of evolution. You get knocked down every time. I'd suggest you stay.
Yeah, so is this what you said to your ex-wife, Kent? Is this what you said to her when you knocked her down? I think somebody who is been found guilty of domestic abuse probably shouldn't be using this language, Kent. Is this what you said to her? Did it put a smile on your face like this when you knocked her down? Because you've been found guilty of knocking someone down and you're using this language like, you knocked someone down, stay down. Unfortunate. unfortunate. With your history, if I had that history, I would probably avoid phraseology like this, because it doesn't make you look strong, Kent. It makes you look weak. You're a bully. And this is called just trying to bully somebody. I mean, look how happy he is and smug he is to knock someone down and stay down. I mean, who behaves like this? You know who behaves like this, Kent? An insecure bully with no confidence in their own actions. All you have is just insecurity that you've got to destroy people that disagree with you. And again, is this what you said to the poor woman you knocked down? Stay down, don't get up, don't challenge me? Yeah, I'd say it's more than likely. I don't know for sure, it's just my opinion, but I'd say it's more than likely.
Down. Stay down.
Yeah.
Leave the topic alone. Just keep digging yourself deeper and deeper. There is no evidence for your theory. Stop it.
Yeah, you know you can dig up, Kent. You can make like stairs to get up. This is just another Hovind bad example, bad analogy.
There's a creator.
Yeah.
Well, I want to cut the picture out. Reviewing my dumpster fire debate. Dumpster. Yeah,
so this is Kent's victim complex. He goes into a debate with Atheist Jr. and really is unprofessional, discourteous, just incredibly rude, obnoxious, interrupts, sort of yells over the top of him, doesn't address his questions, just a wholly gross performance. And then he has the nerve to kind of go, when we review the debate and say, hey, this is what we found to be, we object to, you're attacking me. Ken, if you do something and people criticize you, like, I don't know, cheating on your taxes, for instance, or structuring, I believe it's called, and people criticize you for that, they're not attacking you. Do you understand that? They have a valid criticism of your behavior. That isn't attacking you. People are giving their opinions. But Kent sees criticism as an attack. He sees anybody that disagrees with him as an attack and wants to destroy them. And look at these crazy eyes. Look at them. Urgh. Yeah. If someone criticizes you, turn the other cheek. Say, hey, that's your opinion. But no, he goes, I'm attacked. I've got to destroy them. Yeah, real Christian actions there, mate. I love it. It makes us atheists look good. I've always said I love it when they roll you out, Kent, and put you up for the atheist to go for, because you probably have converted more people than us atheists ever have. People see your arguments and your debates, and they come away less confident in a God. So I guess thanks for that, but why attack and destroy people just for having opinions about you? And I mean, I guess I'm doing the same thing as well. I'm attacking you because you're attacking me. So, where's this going to lead? I don't know. But again, I say this is just my opinion. And hey, make a response. I welcome it. I'll make a response back, see who has the better arguments here. But let's focus on the arguments, or else, I'm going to bring up all of your past again. Have fun with that. I between the two of us, I don't think my past is as bad as your past, Kent. And it baffles me. It really baffles me why you want to get into a character argument with your history. It baffles me.
Fire. Whoa, what happened here? Now he got 2,000 views, probably more by now. Both learned to stay down. AJ put on his personal life on his channel. He said this. He came out on his Facebook page. Okay. Listen to him when he gets it.
Yeah, so this is all just personal stuff, AJ doesn't have a criminal record of fraud, tax fraud, and he hasn't been found guilty of domestic abuse, Kent. So I don't know why you want to make it about a personal thing. You are quite honestly the last person I'd expect to go into this. By the way, this says 5'11", not 5'1". That is correct. It's somebody made a typo error, but you don't care. You're out to make sort of really childish attacks, not not actually talk about the facts.
Side. If you're trying to defend 2 + 2 is 5. There's no geological column. There is no fossil record. No fossils would count as evidence.
No, a make-believe game is actually your religion, Kent. It's not the sciences. This is just Kent, sort of just saying the same things over and over. No fossils count as evidence for evolution. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. And 97% of scientists agree with evolution. So, this whole idea that the evidence they've got isn't evidence is just Kent's just ridiculous stuff.
Which I'm going to play in a minute. AJ, you seem depressed. I'm the #1 person debilitated by depression. This is Turbo Brain, who I debated.
Yeah, so Kent has no idea what people are going through. I don't think he's got much empathy, to be honest with you. I don't think he understands that, hey, people have ups and downs. Some days they feel good, some days they don't. Just because somebody is feeling down on a day, it doesn't mean you get to gloat and jump around like somebody who has conquered the world because you've made somebody feel bad. I don't know why he's proud of making someone feel bad, even if he did, which I don't think it was entirely due to you, Kent. We just have ups and downs. That's what being human is. I'm sure you've had downs yourself, Kent. I'm sure that, time in prison wasn't pleasant for you, and I have the fullest sympathy for that if you did feel bad about that. But, it's not like everybody feels up and down. Occasionally. Hold on, I'll full screen this so we can all see it. So this is just comments from people saying, hey, you look a bit down, showing compassion. So Kent's got to jump on it as, oh, so you're compassionate, you're obviously saying that he's, this, that and the other. It's pretty terrible, but, Kent is pretty terrible.
Jay, you're invited now. Damien, can they call in and you can link them in now? Yeah, could you? How could they do it? My phone's up.
So yeah, this is Kent's lack of understanding about technical stuff. You can use a voice over internet protocol or VoIP system in some way. You could use multiple systems, but of course Kent's about as tech savvy as your average 90-year-old. So not that he's 90, it's just that's his tech savviness is pretty low.
There in the window, if you call me, I don't know how that works. Channel. You have about 6,000 subscribers.
Yeah, that's not an argument, Kent. It doesn't really matter. I don't even have much subscribe. I mainly do this for myself, Kent. Doesn't mean that I didn't, have a good debate against you, and I'm not very, very happy with the way that went. But I did it for me and what I enjoy debate. And what does popularity have anything to do with the validity of your arguments? There's multiple atheists who have way more subscribers than you, Kent. Does that mean they're right and you're wrong? Does that mean their voice is better than your voice? An argument stands on its own merits. It doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. And if I suddenly get, reach 500,000 subscribers, does that mean I'm right and therefore you're wrong? Of course not. This is just an ad populum.
You have 11, 15, and 21. Wow.
From Bengali in 1998. Thank you.
Yeah, they do have a comedic tone. Yeah, they do. I actually really enjoy them. They sort of really make fun of you. The problem with Kent is that he gets angry when he's made fun of, which is sort of tragic because he's really he's almost like a parody of theism. Like he's got the worst arguments that you can really laugh at. I mean, a lot of people watch Kent just for the laugh, and I can't say I blame them. It really is comedic. But the thing is that he loves laughing at other people, but hates being laughed at himself. He cannot handle being laughed at himself, which is kind of funny because, the sort of attacks that he does, he kind of... I mean, I'm not even sure if he likes laughing at people. He just likes destroying them for some reason. Probably an ego thing, but, who can say? However, he does not cope with people making fun of him well, which is, that's sort of this Kent, like you try to make fun of other people and it comes off so bad, and then you get so angry when you're made fun of.
The reason it was a dumpster fire, well, you'll see, but basically Kent opens with ad hominem insults, bringing up pointless personal information.
Yeah, it was ad hominem. It's basically saying, hey, because of your sexuality, I'm gonna paint the picture that your side cannot be believed, or you should discount what your side is saying. Absolutely, it was. What's the relevance otherwise? This wasn't this debate wasn't given to Kent as an opportunity to talk about somebody's personal life. And I don't mind talking about people's personal lives outside of a debate. I think that's more than reasonable. If he wants to do whack an atheist, by all means, Kent, whack yourself away. I don't really care about that. But when you're talking about a debate, you're talking about you have a subject. And I don't think the subject of the debate was anybody's personal information. If you had brought up mine, I would be bringing up yours, which you do not want, Kent, because your history is absolutely terrible, and you know it. This is the thing about Kent. He always does things in a debate that he demands other people don't do. Consider the start of our debate. He basically said, hey, I don't want to discuss multiple things at once. We agreed on three or four things, and that's what Donnie agreed to and said, yes, that is the rule. And then he ignored it. He lied before the debate, just outright lied. And then did what he demanded I don't do. I mean, more of the same from Hypocrite Hovind. He that's what he does. He will demand that you do something and then immediately break it. I mean, it's horrible behaviour. There's nothing saying you can't do that. But, what kind of a person does that make you? Just horrible.
About me that he considers an insult. I don't consider it an insult.
I'm sure you're proud of being gay. I'm sure you are. Okay.
What does it matter? What has it got to do with anything? Doesn't prove a God, doesn't disprove a God, doesn't make him right, doesn't make him wrong. It's got nothing. It's an ad hominem, which you're still doing.
Read what you wrote on your own channel. Greatly exaggerating, son. A couple times I had to raise my voice, which I very rarely do, to get your attention.
Yeah, this is him shouting. Yeah, he raised his voice to ridiculous levels, and everybody knows that he does it. Like, it's just one of those Kent things that he says, oh, well, I don't do that, when he constantly does it.
And you weren't listening.
So at some point during this debate, you're going to hear Kent say that...
Sorry, I just want to mention that usually debates there's a certain level.
That's Mark Reed speaking in the bottom from Australia. I debated him.
Yeah, it's me.
The week before. They're both kind of hurting. Guys, bring it again anytime.
I'm not hurting, Kent. In actual fact, it's you that hasn't posted the debate. I posted our debate on my channel. I'm happy with the way it went. Incredibly happy. I think I had tons of fun. And I think that my arguments were great. Why haven't you posted it on your channel again, Kent? Why have you tucked that one away so your followers don't see it? Let's not show that to the people. Maybe you can put it up for your followers to see, and then they can decide for themselves. Why don't you do that? And then we'll see what they think. But I've noticed that, like when you debated T-Jump and other people, you don't put certain debates up on your channel. You seem to be ashamed of the way that it's gone. You seem to think that they're not worth posting. And I wonder why. But I've put it up on my channel, our debate. Why haven't you put it up on yours, Ken? Maybe you could do that in future. Show the people what they want. Or maybe what you don't want them to see and hear.
It's kind of hard to define, right? But usually there's a level of decorum, and that's the word I would use, or respectability for the other side that we would have in a normal debate. That sort of wait for them to finish, or and there is a certain level of people, interrupting to clarify, or people, sort of saying, hey, but you're misrepresenting me, and things like that.
Let me skip up a little bit to...
Yeah, so I was just pointing out how Kent doesn't have that level of decorum. If you don't want to watch the whole review, I completely understand. But that's basically, I was describing the way that people generally behave in debates. If it's not a dumpster fire, it's when things break down. There is no structure anymore, and people are just sort of yelling. That's what I'd categorize as a dumpster fire.
Hello, Jay. For evolution,
about 7 minutes.
There's a lot to unpack.
Evidence. Definition of evolution. Let's see, what do we know? And I say we know dogs produce dogs. We know.
I think this definition of science is fine. Sometimes Kant uses some weird definitions of science, and he sort of says, hey, science is just knowledge, and that's not right. A systematic enterprise that builds and organized knowledge and the testable explanations and predictions. Yeah, the problem is Kant doesn't have any testable explanations and predictions. Certainly not testable. Explanations and predictions. Probably doesn't even have any predictions. I mean, he has explanations, but they're all post hoc. They're always looking back after the fact and, oh, well, this happened, and I'm explaining this with this explanation. But how are they testable? They're not. So he doesn't actually have any. But like I said, he kind of twists the definition in a little bit to sort of be something else.
Evolution is a religion, it's not a science.
No, it is not, Kent. It falls into no definition of religion that's ever been out there. It's got no deity, no call to worship. There's tons of things. This has already been tried in Kitzmiller versus Dover. It already absolutely found to be evolution is science and intelligent design is not science. Evolution has testable explanations and predictions. In your own definition, it is a science and not a religion, because religion doesn't have testable explanations and predictions, but evolution does. That's why. I mean, look, your own definition just above it shows why evolution is a science and religion is not a science. It's ridiculous that you can then, bold underneath. It's terrible. Terrible.
Okay? Nothing scientific about it. Science?
No, that is not the definition of science. Hovind is actually using a definition of science from something like 1902, some ancient archaic, textbook kind of thing, because he's got to cherry pick out definitions. That is not the definition of science that we are using. And I might add that saying that scientia is Latin for knowledge. That's a genetic fallacy. That's basically saying, well, it came from this word, therefore it is that word. No, that is a complete fallacy. It's like saying a modern word means this, or came from this word, so it must mean that old word. No, that is not how that is not how etymology works. Although it's kind of hilarious that you don't understand that words evolve as well, and they can sort of be analogous to biological evolution, because words that sort of meant something a long time ago can change into something else. But this isn't a definition of science, or if it is, it's from his sort of 1902 textbook. I think it was Webster's from 1902 that he dredged up and tried to use that as a definition. It's actually terrible. And the third one, it's okay, I guess, but it's not really a system. Is it a system of acquiring knowledge? Yeah, kind of, but it doesn't just use observation experimentation. It uses testable predictions, which I noticed that you've sort of left out there.
Is knowledge attained through study and practice. How do you define the word species? How do you define the word evidence? Evidence, a sign which shows that something exists or is true.
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously the second definition is a legal definition, obviously. Law, yeah, something in law. Yeah, that's from thesaurus.com. I suppose, but the thing is, he's sort of missing out a kind of a scientific definition of evidence, which is not cool, Yeah, so evidence within science has a specific meaning. I would accept that sort of that which tends to prove stuff. I don't know what his point is here.
They found evidence of a robbery. Evidence, that which tends to prove real evidence, demonstrable evidence, documentary evidence, and testimonial evidence. Okay, 4 different kinds.
Do you notice where he's getting that from? He's getting that from a legal site. So the word evidence has different meanings in different contexts, and you're getting it from a legal context. What we describe legally what constitutes evidence. That is not the same as evidence in a scientific sense. You should be familiar with legal evidence because the prosecutor brought tons of it to show you, especially documentary evidence. And this is how this works. So I don't know why you don't understand that applying a legal sense of evidence to something isn't the same as scientific evidence. There's overlap. There's things that would count in both, but there's different methods to follow. I don't know why he's Googling a legal website to get a definition of scientific evidence. It's baffling how ignorant this is.
Evidence and testimonial evidence. He's not guilty. Reasonable suspicion.
Yeah, again, this is just more legal stuff. He's just confused. We have different sort of standards of evidence as well. I don't know what to say. It's just, if you're going to walk into a laboratory trying to find legal evidence, then you're going to have problems. But I don't think Kent stepped into a laboratory at any point in his life, and I don't think he ever will. He is a picture of a scientific caveman. He's got no idea about it and doesn't want to know. It's kind of, yeah.
Let's see. Evolution has a definition. Process by which difference?
Evolution is allele frequency change over time. That's all. That's it. That's the entire definition. Look it up, Kent, because these sort of cherry-picking definitions are sort of descriptive to people's usages of words. They try to explain how the word is used in normal parlance. They don't actually make the word something. All they do is describe its usage. So Kent's been told the definition of evolution time and time again. This is sort of just bad faith cherry picking definitions to suit what he wants to say.
Kinds of living organs.
I'd like Kent to explain what gives him that authority.
God.
Explain what gives him all that authority. God. No, God doesn't give you any authority. I have no reason to believe that a God exists, much less he's going to place any authority in you, Ken. There's a million people who claim God gives them the authority to speak as they do, and they all contradict one another. So really, you're going to have to go up against everybody else who's claiming God gave them the authority to speak. It's ridiculous. It's an argument from authority where you're not even sure that the authority exists, much less is an authority.
God told me to tell you. You need to get...
Really? You're speaking to God now? He speaks to you, does he? Does he speak to you? Is this what's happening, Kent? Maybe you're just getting old and, you're hearing voices. Maybe a bit of early onset dementia, I'm not sure. But I got no reason to believe that God talked to you. And if so, how do you prove that a God talked to you? I mean, go ahead. If you're talking to God, maybe we should, put you away for a while. Get you some help. Because if you're hearing voices, that's not good, mate.
Saved, AJ.
Them to believe a theory. There is no evidence for evolution.
Because the Bible says they bring forth after their kind.
Yeah, the problem is that when you were debating AJ, you were like, okay, he brought up the squirrels. And he asked you, are squirrels the same kind? And you said, yes, they are the same kind. And then when he noted that, hey, they can't breed between themselves, these two types of squirrels can't breed, you said they're different kinds of squirrel. So which is it? Are they the same kind or are they different kinds? You never give an answer to this, and it's always so muddy, and I think that's your intention. You try to muddy the waters because you cannot define what a kind is. You won't. It's things that bring forth after their own kind. But these squirrels don't, but they're all still the squirrel kind. You don't even notice your own contradictions, which is baffling to me.
See, if they're able to bring forth, they're the same kind.
Yeah, except you said there were different kinds of squirrels.
They normally don't, but they can. Dog in a pine tree cannot. They're not the same kind.
Yeah, they're not the same species, genus, family either. There's a lot of difference between those two things. And we know that species can procreate. But you believe that a Bible written by people with ignorance of any anything genetics based is somehow more accurate than our understanding of science today, which is very, very strange. I mean, you can believe that if you want, but you can't teach that in a science class because it's not science, while evolution is science. And that makes you mad. But you can teach whatever you want in your Sunday school. You can teach whatever you want in your theology class. Not in science, you can't. Science is for science. Your stuff is for theology. So go back to your theology class. Take this stuff with you, because that's all it is. It's theology. And creationism, which is just a religious belief. So have fun. And this will never make it into the science class. Never. Never. Certainly not in my country. I mean, it might in some states of the US, but as people generally tend to get less religious as time goes on, you will never be able to teach this in a science class. And the reason why is because it's not science. And you can deal with that in any way you found fit, but you will never be able to teach this untestable, unfalsifiable, ridiculous stuff that is obviously religion trying to masquerade as science as actual science. Get over it. Cope.
Okay. You guys have a kangaroo. We got to get one down here.
Yeah, we got kangaroos all over the place, and they're marsupials, Kent. Marsupials. They only exist in one place. Or maybe there's one or two in South America, I think. But generally they're only in Australia, and you have no real explanation why. Why did a god suddenly decide to put all the marsupials in one place and not... Evolution's got a perfect answer. Perfect. Explains everything perfectly. But yours doesn't. It's just... God decided to do that because he was feeling kind of whimsical that day and decided that he was going to give a coin pouch to a koala. Please don't take that the wrong way. Why? Crickets from the creationist side. Just God works in mysterious ways.
I'd be willing to bet $5 you couldn't mate your kangaroo with a turtle.
Yeah, and nobody says you should be able to. So evolution, it doesn't say that you should be able to. This is the straw manning that Kent does, and he does a lot of this.
Won't work. Changing the inherited traits of a population of organisms.
Yes, that comes from a science website, which is it's a correct definition. Yes.
Successive generations. I agree.
Yeah.
But it's...
Congratulations, you believe in evolution. Congratulations, Kent, you're finally on board. You are a believer in evolution.
Limited definition of evolution. I go through carefully. Anyway, I covered this in my video.
Yeah, Big Bang, nothing to do with evolution. Certainly not biological evolution, which was the theme of our debate, and you decided to go on to Big Bang and other irrelevant stuff anyway. All it is just running from the subject. That's all Kent does. He can't argue evolution, can't explain chromosome 2, can't explain ERVs, so he runs away to any gap he can find to fit his God. Any gap. And everybody can see what he's doing. Our debate was about biological evolution, not cosmology or star formation or any other of the dozen or so topics he tried to turn it to. But, Kent hates arguing the actual topic because he's so bad at it. So he just runs away to any other topic he can find. Well, tough. I mean, he says, you can't get to evolution without these other stuff. Well, you can't decide. You don't need to know the history of a criminal to know that they committed the crime. In fact, our courts kind of depend on it. You can't bring up previous charges, like when you were found guilty of pushing over your wife and hurting her in a domestic abuse case. You don't need to know that you're a prior criminal in order to find you guilty, obviously, because you were found guilty.
I don't know if it's the dumb. Yeah, probably close to the dumbest, okay? So then you have the laws of...
Yeah, the dumbest is not an argument. I could sit here all day long and say, hey, creationism is dumb. It's a dumb idea, thought by dumb people. Yeah, I could say that, but that's not an argument. It's not any kind of reason why you shouldn't believe it.
But anyway, I covered this in my video.
I didn't get called on that, but that was something I noticed.
I'll just go forward a bit. I'm sort of taking
I
my
bet the
time.
male kangaroo.
To mean his definition and only his definition. Where
Mark,
Yes.
kind, if they can bring forth, they're the same kind.
Ah, but you said that the squirrels were the same kind, but those squirrels couldn't bring forth other squirrels. So you're in direct contradiction of your own definition. And you do it a lot. You say that, hey, these things will be the same kind, and they can't breed. Or they'll bring forth sterile creatures. What's the reason for sterile creatures? If you breed a lion and a tiger, which you've used as an example in the past, their offspring will be sterile. If you breed a horse and a donkey, a mule is sterile. So why is that? And is that still the same kind? And then that creature can't bring forth anything. So then, like a sterile donkey and another donkey can't make a donkey. So are they not the same kind? You've got massive problems with your definitions here. You just ignore it and keep trudging on, even though you contradict yourself all the time. It's tragic.
You guys believe a horse?
sort of different varieties is what you're saying. You know,
Yeah, so Kent was hassling AJ's use of the word kind, and it's just, when we say, oh, it's a different kind, we're just saying it's a different variety. We're not subscribing to Kent's weird kind definition. We're not sort of using it in a biblical sense, but of course Kent just ignores this.
that's
Showing everything coming from a common ancestor.
Yes.
That's what's not honest.
No, it is
Okay.
honest.
You believe you're related to all this, don't you?
Yeah. But here's the thing, when you say related, you're trying to say, hey, you're related this, like I'm related to my cousin and I'm not related to my neighbour down the road kind of thing. That's the kind of conflation that he's doing. You think you're related. I don't think they're part of my family. I don't think they're part of the same species because they're not human. I think that the relation is so distant, sort of millions and millions of millions of different, generations, multiples of, so far away. But he kind of conflates, say, hey, you think you're related, like we would use it in common parlance, like we would use it to say, hey, I am related to this person I see, down the pub, as opposed to another, because they're my third cousin twice removed, rather than somebody else down the pub who I have no relation to. But in actual fact, Kent acknowledges that we're related to that stranger as well, because he concedes that all humans are related. But when I say that, hey, I am related to, sort of a primitive prokaryote, we're related to zebras, I'll just take something, or a ladybug, by that primitive prokaryote, or the eukaryote, ages ago. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it is such a distant relation, you are trying to conflate what relation actually means.
Mr. Reed, you believe you're related to a pine tree?
Yes.
Real simple question.
Yes.
Just over millions of generations.
I already said it,
Are you
yes.
related to a pine tree?
Yes, millions of generations, yes.
Textbook says you are.
Yes.
And a worm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Related to a worm.
Yeah.
And we all came from an amoeba. You're talking
No.
about amoeba.
So when you say amoeba, it sort of references a modern amoeba. This is the thing that he conflates with. If you've got a primitive prokaryote, like a really primitive cell back in, 1 point whatever billion years ago that life started, 1.6 I think it is, that's not a modern amoeba. You are conflating, Kent. And this gets told to you again and again and again, and I'll keep bringing it up again and again and again. It's not a modern amoeba. So stop. It's not what you're saying it is, and you're conflating the two. No, it was a primitive cell ages ago, like, millions, billions of years ago.
Being dishonest, none of this is observed. The guy last night
Sure
said
it
we
is.
are apes. I said, well, you're beginning to
Yeah, that was James,
You are,
yeah.
but I'm not.
There you are.
It's a religious.
What exactly doesn't make you an ape? Of the ape criteria, do an internal critique. And what about the criteria that we use to define an ape, like, a large cranium and opposable thumb, and all of these different things that define an ape? What is it that you don't have of that criteria. If you have all the criteria, then you are an ape. Sorry, Kent. Deal with it in some way.
Drawing lines on paper is not science.
Yeah, so we don't just draw lines on paper and decide that. That's just a ridiculous statement. It's like saying, well, you just fill in coloured boxes and put numbers on them and that says the periodic table is correct. No. It's the knowledge behind it. This is a graphical representation of the knowledge we have acquired by years and years and years of study, all the way back to, ancient Greek times and things like that. This isn't just we put lines on a paper and just decided it so. It is really dishonest of this characterization of the theory of evolution and how we got to that point. But of course, it's Kent. He's really dishonest in the way that he conflates these things. This whole idea that we just put lines arbitrarily on a paper and decided it was so. No, we didn't. You could just say that about anything. You could say, hey, you just put circles on paper and say that's the solar system. Who does that sound like? Yeah, flat earther. And your sort of claim is exactly the same. It's along the lines of a flat earther. They'll say, hey, you just make CG and then tell everybody it's a globe earth. Yeah, that's what they say. And you sound exactly the same. Well, you just put lines on a paper. It's exactly the same argument, Ken. Why should we have any more trust in your spurious argument that you're putting out here than a flat earther? Answer is we shouldn't. You are doing exactly the same thing. Just an argument from incredulity.
Okay. Using to the hippopotamus. And they give... Look at this. All the animals and all the fungi and all the plants are related.
Yeah, so this is what really... It's weird that he can't understand evolution because he brings up so many things describing it and yet still gets it wrong. I've never seen somebody use so many diagrams of a theory and still get the theory wrong. It's incredible. And sort of... Yeah... Baffling, I know.
Wow. Mr. Reed, do you think you're related to a mushroom?
Yes. I don't know how many times I can say yes. But very, very, very distantly related. It's not like I think a mushroom's my cousin. And so, your attempts to conflate are really dishonest, but, yeah, in a very distant way.
Looks like a fun guy. You're related...
Yeah, so dad joke thrown in there because, Boomer's got a boom, what can I say?
Just speculation inside that circle. Humans, birds, and crocodiles.
Yeah, so all of this kind of, you think you're related to a mushroom and you think... It's an argument from incredulity. He's basically saying, well, I personally don't believe that I'm an ape or could be related to an ape, so therefore it's not true. Not so. Not so. It's the same as the flat earther saying, well, I don't believe the earth could be spinning at, X amount per miles per hour, so it's not true. No, that's not an argument, Ken. It's just stating your incredulity. That's all. And it doesn't matter how many times you do it, it's still going to be an argument from incredulity.
Came from a common answer.
Is that
Classifiers right here, just for you atheists. If you start crying, we'll give you time. Oh, man.
So here's Kent showing how old he is.
Now I won't cry anymore. If that doesn't work, try more time. Yeah. That's...
I hope he sanitized that first. Actually, come to think of it, he should sanitize it after if he's going to give it to a kid. But, what can you say about somebody whose actual arguments, and I might add arguments in a debate, is to suck on a pacifier. That's his argument. It's really hilarious. It's and please keep doing it by all means, because really, if your best argument is sucking on a pacifier, that's golden. No, I love it.
How you solve everything. How did that amoeba turn to a human? Well, give it enough time. That is what you say.
Sure is.
And it encompasses microevolution, which is variation within a species.
The fact that we see animals produce a variety of offspring, and they're always...
Yeah, we do see animals produce a variety of offspring. Mutations happen all the time, and we see different mutations come up. We see, when somebody has multiple children, they're not all the same. I don't know if you know this, Kent. I believe that your children may not be talking to you anymore. I don't know if that's the case, but I've heard it. When somebody has 12 children, they're not all identical. I mean, identical twins are identical, but they're hardly the norm. We see a variety of different traits associated with these children, and not just among humans, with all kinds of animals.
Within the same kind, aren't they, AJ?
Yeah, no one knows what a kind is because you give such vague and muddy definitions, Ken. You can't really explain to any... And whenever you do explain it, you immediately contradict it because you say, hey, they can bring forth after their kind. But animals that can't mate, like the squirrel example, you said that they were the same kind followed by they were different kinds of squirrel because they couldn't interbreed. So your definition... I'm really sorry, Kent, your definitions are just nonsense. That's not our fault. Nobody can seem to understand... It's not that we can't understand what you're saying, it's just that you change it depending on what you need to address at the time.
500 varieties of chickens now have been developed. Call, standing for truth, have another debate.
Yeah, this $250,000 offer, it's just basically, it's just a ridiculous thing. He's basically to prove evolution, but he wants you to prove Big Bang and things nothing to do with evolution. He wants you to prove abiogenesis, the origin of life, or just a ton of stuff. It's basically explain everything that's ever happened in the universe and I'll give you $250,000. It's pretty stupid. Nobody takes it seriously.
Call, standing for truth, have another debate. Anytime, AJ. You said a week ago...
I'll have another debate. I'll take you up on that. How about you defend creationism? How about we have a debate on creationism on trial? I challenge you, Kent, for that one. I 100% challenge you. Come on, bring it on. If you're so sure about creationism, you won't mind defending it. But you can't even put our debates up on your channel, there's no way you'd step into the ring defending creationism. You just want to attack evolution. But I challenge you to do a debate against me, defend creationism. Creationism on trial. Let's go. Bring it on.
You're going to quit this one?
No, he won't. Look, this man has been wrong about just about every prediction he's ever made. There's no reason to start listening to him now.
Straw man.
Yeah, you're making a straw man. I agree, Ken. You're making a straw man. Aside from that, what you're doing with these is just an argument from incredulity. You can't believe it? Well, that doesn't make it not true. It's got nothing to do with it. Flat earthers don't believe that the earth goes round the sun. Doesn't make it not true. Sorry, tough luck. Doesn't mean anything. You need better arguments than I don't believe this. And I mean, the way you frame it is, you believe this, like it's incredulous. Right? Incredulous. That's how you frame it. But it's not an argument. It's just, yeah, we believe that, and we've got good evidence for it. What have you got? Nothing but incredulity and bad faith arguments, straw manning the evolutionary position. That's all you've got. It's all you've ever had. And you haven't changed anything in the 30 plus years you've been doing this. It's the same tired old arguments you've been using from the start.
Family tree with living things. Okay.
Like by it, and
We don't care about
you have to.
pyramid. It doesn't happen. It's religion.
It doesn't happen.
This guy's right. Listen to him.
Straw man. Chimpanzees don't. Humans and chimpanzees branch from a common ancestor. That doesn't mean a chimpanzee will give birth to a human.
Nor have I ever said that, Mark.
Oh, you've never said that. Okay. Let's see. Let's see, shall we?
Paper. Let's observe it. That's what science is. Get in the laboratory, make your chimpanzee produce longer arms, and turn to a human.
I'm sorry? Did that just say a chimpanzee turned into a human?
Where's the observation? None.
That doesn't mean a chimpanzee will give birth to a human.
Nor have I ever said that, Mark.
Oh. Let's go through that again.
Meanings of the word evolution above. Is it
A human. That doesn't happen. Paper. Let's observe it. That's what science is. Get in the laboratory, make your chimpanzee produce longer arms, and turn to a human.
That's chimpanzee produce longer arms and turn into a human. That's a chimpanzee giving birth to a human. That's... Okay. And what did you say?
I said, you guys, listen to
You're
him.
sure that is branch from a common ancestor. That doesn't mean a chimpanzee will give birth to a human.
Nor have I ever said that, Mark.
Oh, liar! You just said that. You said a chimpanzee produced longer arms and turn into a human. But that won't happen. And the reason why, and I'll show you this on the phylogenetic tree, because, I mean, I've told this to Kent time and time again, right? That if you have the phylogenetic tree, I will look up this. I like this tree of life. And pay attention this time, Ken. Unscrew that cap. It's obviously too tight on your little head there. Unscrew it and understand. So this is a mouse right here. Mus musculus. It's a mouse, right? Actually, let's do yours. Pantroglodytes is the chimp. Homo sapiens is the human, right? So things, once they are a chimpanzee, they will never, ever jump sideways to make a human, right? So once they split, and I'll get a marker because it's kind of ridiculous how absolutely easy this is to understand, and you don't seem to understand it. Once things split up, that line, this line going out here, will forever be Homo sapiens. It will forever be human, and that will forever be a chimpanzee. Chimps will not lengthen their arms and turn into humans. They have already split. They might turn into something, and that something may resemble a human. Instead of pantroglodytes, they might turn into panmodernus, something that's similar to a human, but it will not be a human. And I don't know why you can't understand that. It's been explained to you so many times, and you still don't get it. And I really worry about your mind that you cannot understand that.
I said, you guys believe humans and chimps have a common ancestor.
Yeah.
That's never been observed either.
Yeah, it has.
1, 7. Yeah. All came from a common ancestor. This is what you guys teach.
Yeah,
And
so
there's
this
no
is
such
just
thing-
incredulity again.
Trillion base pairs.
So
Wow.
this is basically him saying, hey, these things which I see as simple, I see these as simple, they've got a lot of chromosomes. But these are modern evolved forms. So when he says an amoeba, and he means the single cell prokaryote that we all kind of evolved from, he's sort of going, oh, but it's got this many genes. No, that isn't an amoeba. It's a much simpler organism. It's the modern amoeba that has that many chromosomes. This is his conflation, right? Yeah, a carp has a lot of chromosomes. Sure. So what? It's a modern creature. Nothing is more evolved than any other creature. You can't say, hey, a carp has more chromosomes, therefore it's more evolved. No, everything's just as evolved as one another. It doesn't make any sense. But he's trying to say, hey, I don't believe this. Therefore it's not true. It is the argument from incredulity. It is a logical fallacy.
Trumpet lily. Coli. Ah,
Yeah, he's doing the same thing.
4,435 genes. You think it happened by chance? DNA?
No, we don't think that evolution happens by chance. There's a number of mechanisms involved. Mutations may arise by chance. That may be true. But we don't think evolution is by chance. It's a selection process. Things that are advantageous for the animal will get selected. But yeah, you've been explained this before.
Only 4 million. 7 or 8,000 RPM. This little bacteria has one that goes 100,000 RPM, and it can stop in a quarter turn and reverse.
Yeah, it's a biomechanical though, Kent, not mechanical. That little flagellum wouldn't work on a scale that engine is. It just wouldn't. If it could, then maybe you'd see wheels on animals, but you don't, because they're not. Biochemistry and bioengineering doesn't work like that.
Go on, quit. See.
But the way we classify things, it won't be a mouse, because
This is blame standing for truth for being unfair when they're one of the most fair hosts you can get.
Yeah, I think Donnie is pretty fair. I think that he really tries to check his biases. I think in that debate, though, I stand by that he should have told you to stop raising your voice, keep the personal information out of the debate, because it's got nothing to do with Atheist Junior or what he does in his free time or things that he's done on his channel. It's got nothing to do with it. Because if it was, we could bring up that you have been found guilty of domestic abuse and probably said, possibly said, stay down to your wife when you knocked her down, and that you have a criminal conviction for tax evasion. If you want that debate on who's got the better moral character by their history, I'll have that debate with you as well, Ken. I will debate that I am better socially adjusted than you. Would you like that debate? Bring up personal things and see who has the better moral character out of it. How about that, Ken? I don't think you'd like that debate. I think you'd be very, very anxious to avoid that debate. But it's weird that you keep bringing this stuff up. Showing your aggression and your level of spite to attack people. It's not very good, is it?
Get my attention again. I'll do another whack at. Can you do something on the rapture, like pre-trib, pre-rapture, post-trib? Very quickly. Can you take that down? I'll just show my chart here. I did a lot on that. I did a series about a year ago called Whoa.
No one just really cares.
70th week of Daniel, I think most folks agree, is a 7-year period.
No one really cares.
When I get my brother straightened up, but he's hunchback. So.
Yeah, this is just where Kent rambles for a while.
Our church is out of Rockwell. Can you do a show with Stu Peters? The entertainment, you're really fun to whack, okay?
Yeah, and you're really fun to make fun of as well, Kent. So, I mean, I'm more than happy to keep doing these as long as you are, mate. I really am. As I said, I got a few new subscribers from you because people do watch your channel to have a laugh at you, and they do go, oh, well, you're attacking this atheist. He probably has something interesting to say. So, thanks for that, I guess. So, thank you.
Okay, call me 855-BIG-DINO extension 3 if you want to keep it private. For no debate tomorrow. Friday, another debate. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Yeah, so that's Kent's sort of all he can muster up for whacking atheists is sort of bad faith arguments from incredulity, straw man arguments as per usual. But yeah, it's been fun. That's my take on it, and I think that Kent wearing a dinosaur T-shirt shirt is hilarious. I don't see Jesus riding on the back of that T-Rex, so I don't think it's sort of accurate for Kent. But it was fun to do. Thank you all so much for listening. I really appreciate it, and hopefully he will maybe listen to this and do another one so I can have a bit of a slap a Hypocrite Hovind back. Would be fun. But thanks for tuning in, and I hope you have a magnificent time.